And we're live, Harry. We're not live, but we are recording. Hello, Harry.
You're so close up. It's alarming.
I had to because I don't have my glasses on. I can't see you. Are you there? Hello.
I'm here. I'm here.
Now, hello and welcome, viewer.
Hello and welcome, viewer, to Where You Left Them, the Dad Hugs for Your Soul podcast Zoom call, which is every Tuesday.
Yes. Well done, Harry. I want to just do a small disclaimer at the beginning that
Harry. Do continue.
We are using new technology this week, and we're both very old and we can't do it very well. So hopefully you can see and or hear us. If you can see and hear us, that will be
miraculous.
Miraculous, honestly, yes. So are you well? Have you had a good week?
I'm so well. I'm so relaxed because I went to the gym.
No, you didn't.
I did. The gym is a 10-minute walk from here, so last night I drove there, and it was a nice little drive. And then when I got there, would you like to know which machines and exercises I used?
Was it leg day? I'm guessing
it was bum day, in that I sat down a lot. I got changed all by myself. That was good.
Done. Yes.
That was about the most out of breath that I was, actually, taking my socks off. And then I was going to get in the pool, but it seemed like quite a lot of work to climb down the ladder. So I went in the steam room.
You've got to ease yourself into this.
Yeah, I don't want to pull a muscle. So I lay in the steam room and found that I could make fart noises with my back fat. So I did that for a while. And then I sat next to the pool editing videos. I am that guy.
And then people hate you. They hate you.
Absolutely. And then I sat in the sauna for a bit to really, pump my heart up. And then I went and had a pint. It was really, Whew.
You need to easy tiger, right?
I'm overtraining.
You're not an athlete.
I am overtraining.
You are overtraining. Well done.
So I'm very relaxed, Emma. How are you?
I am. I think I'm all right. I've had a bit of I've had an excellent weekend, honestly, and I'm still paying the price for it.
How many gigs have you been to in the last few days?
4 in 4.
Wow.
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Every pensioner band that's ever existed.
Would you like to know the range? I was at the Royal Albert Hall on Thursday night with a big full orchestra, and on
you say that as if you were on stage. I was at the Royal Albert Hall.
In my mind, I was on stage, Harry.
Lovely.
And then on the best one was Friday, which was Duran Duran.
Oh.
I love Simon and Yvonne so much. I know. For 3 songs, I just had my mouth open, not speaking or doing anything. Oh. But then, this is the worst one. My niece and nephew and son are absolutely cringing with horror because on Sunday, I went to a hip-hop gig.
Why? Did you take a wrong pen? Was it the sat-nav again?
No, I intended to go there. It was fabulous. I loved it. I know we don't call it moshing because that's heavy metal, but I was in the pit. I was bouncing.
Hey, you're allowed to go to hip-hop.
I can't walk at all or sleep. And then it was a podcast recording on Sunday, actually, of another podcast, Arrival.
Oh, disgusting.
I know. Right, look, what we're actually here to talk about is Jonathan. And his long-distance situationship.
Yes.
Actually, he didn't call it a situationship, but I've called it that. I don't know why. I've never used that word before in my life. So it was a relationship. It was an intense relationship. If you've not listened to the podcast, go and listen to it. Because there's more background. But, some of the themes there were long distance and sort of quite a brutal, in his opinion, ending of a relationship.
Yeah. I think a lot happens in absence, doesn't it? In long-distance relationships, there's quite a lot that happens in your absence.
Yes, and I think that is what I'd really like to explore here. Can they work, do you think? No.
For me, I'd say no. I don't think they can. I have the similar opinion on open relationships as as I do with the long distance
Oh,
relationship. Hello, Lily Allen. But I think, I just think there's too much space for doubt to exist, right? In the distance, in the gap between the both of you,
yeah.
psychologically and physically, there's too much space for doubt to exist, for jealousy to brew and start to grow, isn't there? In my opinion.
Mm.
And
I'd, I'd like to hear from people who are having a successful long distance relationship, because I'm sort of the same opinion as you on
hmm,
that. But that, like you say, it takes a very secure kind of attachment. And that's another question I have, right? We talk a lot about anxious attachment and avoidant and all that kind of stuff. Is secure attachment a style, or is that just a phase of being? I'm reading securely attached. What does that mean, please?
it's a style, yeah. It's securely attached never looks like what anxious people imagine it looks like. It's not
Mm.
totally comfortable. It's not that you don't ever feel insecure and you don't feel jealous. It's
Mm.
just it's the work that you do when you're anxious. So in the anxious pack, for example, the work that you're given to do in that pack, the strategies and the tools,
Mm.
are to make yourself your center of trust, right? So that you know yourself so well that when you make decisions about your emotional future, you trust them, you believe in them 100%. And that then extends to other people and other decisions in your life. So when you decide to choose a partner, you really trust your decision on that partner. And by proxy, you trust the partner. And there's almost a feeling of, not even almost, there is a feeling, a suggestion that if the partner were to betray you, that is 100% on them. That's their flaw, that's their fault. And when we say that, when the Mel Robbins stuff went round and said, if someone cheats on you, that's entirely their issue, their stuff from the past. It's their
Mm.
problem, their thing to deal with. So don't ever blame yourself. And that's true. But with a secure
Mm.
partnership, you live that every day. So when a secure relationship ends, and they do, you're not immune to the
Yeah.
relationship falling apart. You're not immune to falling out of love with people. But when they do end, there is very little self-doubt. There's a lot of self-reflection in that, oh, maybe I could have done this better or could have done that better. But actually, you kind of feel, well, that relationship ran its course. I feel comfortable with who I was in the relationship because I didn't have to project anything else because I'm secure in who I am.
Mm.
So there's a real kind of authenticity that gives you this center of security. You really feel like, I wouldn't say you feel it's all their loss, but you certainly feel like it's not yours. It's not a huge loss for you because
Gosh,
you
right.
you committed honestly and you don't have this terrible, constant, anxious fear of, oh, they're going to leave me. They're going to find out who I really am and they're going to abandon me. And then I'm going to
Mm.
be on my own again. And then I'm going to have to find someone else. And I'll never find someone like them and so on.
Mm.
You have this kind of thought, well, they're an individual. They have make their own decisions and they should want me. And if they,
Yeah, that's really interesting actually, because I feel like personally, we know I'm an anxious person. We know I'm anxious attachment, but I feel like right. This is a little bit of visual kind of analogy for you. If you put a piece of paper on the surface of water and then it starts to soak through,
yeah.
I feel like that soaking through of security is coming through in me now, and I'm
Oh, okay.
really loving it because how happy I am. How I feel I'm having an exciting time. And I know this might sound salt in the wounds, but I feel able to say this because I have really, really gone through the ringer. So I feel able
Yes.
to say this. But what I'm also feeling, which is so new, and it's not an unkind thing, but I just know that I'm real, I'm being myself, and that I will always be okay.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think that's the thing, isn't it? It's the fear that a lot of anxious people have. And one of the things that we sort of do with anxious people to move them to be more secure, the fear is themselves, right? Because if
Mm.
you're afraid of being single, if you're afraid of being alone, what you're saying is, I am uncomfortable that I am my sole reliance. I am the person who has to support me and look after me
Mm.
emotionally. I don't
Mm.
feel comfortable with that. I need to build my emotional security in somebody else.
Mm.
So there is, this isn't just, it's not just sales talk to say that you could feel your anxiety and feel happier. It's so important that
It
you are your
actually,
core.
yeah.
Because the other thing, the dark side of this is as well, you won't like this, the dark side of this is as well, people come and go, people die. There are terrible things that afflict
100%.
people in our lives. And if those people leaving your life means that your life feels unlivable, then, yep, short term, that's perfectly normal. And that's love and that's
That's
fine.
grieving, yeah.
But overall, long term, you must be able to build your own emotional strength and be your own emotional resilience. It's very important.
Absolutely. So anyway, so that was a bit of an aside, but it is still relevant in this case because, again, the long distance thing requires that strength, requires that sort of security. I'm not sure that what is your thought? Could we say that Jonathan wasn't a secure person, or what do you think there?
I think what happened, what was really interesting, we'll get to the comments in a bit, but one of the comments I think nailed it, right? I think that during long distance relationships, as we said at the beginning, there's this doubt that creeps into the gap. And I think there was doubt on both sides.
Yes.
And I feel like Jonathan was the more anxious partner.
Yes.
And that comes across, in the letter and all that. But I think that when his partner saw him injured, there was a real kind of visual vulnerability there to add to that uncertainty, and I think that may have tipped the whole thing over the edge. I think somebody really nailed that in the comments. So well done.
Yes,
that was you.
They did. And do you know what? You've said that, and I wasn't going to read that out.
Okay.
But we should read it out because that was Jonathan's fear that had somehow.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to accept that because that felt a bit too cruel to me. But a couple of people. Let's look at the comments. Let's have a look at the comments. So there was an age difference, and this person, Mirage, this is from YouTube. Maybe this woman, as she said, wanted to start a family with someone, didn't realise the age difference was too big before he got injured.
Yeah.
Maybe she was thinking that he'd be an older dad, that he might not live to see grandchildren. Maybe she considered that men usually have shorter lives than women, or it could be that the long distance relationship was too challenging. We're so different, it might be what Jonathan found perfect was not all that for his partner. We all tend to fill in the blanks in each other. We see others not as they are, but as we are. So exactly that.
Really, that's a proper insightful comment. I like that.
It is, yeah. So, and again, I feel sad for Jonathan and his ex-partner. If you're really not feeling the love anymore, it is the honest thing to call it off, even though it's going to hurt. We had this discussion.
Yes.
And I'm going to go and read this whole thing now because of what you said. She couldn't reasonably wait for him to recover from his accident. He felt vulnerable because he couldn't be as strong as he normally might be, so he got defensive and refused to accept her reason for ending it. So it all went downhill, though probably neither of them really meant to hurt the other beyond what had to inevitably happen. Their relationship had been maybe a little unreal because of the geographical distance, and his accident was a catalyst that brought reality crashing in. That's a really good point, isn't it?
Yeah.
They were just two people trying their best in a horrible situation. I so hope Jonathan can rebuild himself, and this experience doesn't blight any future relationship that lies ahead for him. Keep the faith, Jonathan. She just wasn't right for you, and you weren't right for her. Good luck for the future.
Yeah.
So absolutely, again, insightful. Absolutely insightful. And we talked a bit in the podcast about how he doesn't sort of close himself off for the future. And you did a post, actually, I don't know if it's today or yesterday, about that, saying, you want to protect yourself when you've suffered great hurt.
Yeah.
And close yourself away, but you're actually causing hurt in the future. Could you tell me about that a bit more, explore that a bit more? Because that's what I'm wondering.
The way I look at it is that this is why, again, heartbreak generally is a gift, as crap as it feels. But we are all, it's undeniable that we're all the product of events, positive and negative, that happen in our lives, right? And the bigger the event, the bigger the kind of effect on who we are, on our persona, on our personality, on our relationship, and on our attachment style and all that. And when something hugely negative happens or hurtful, or injurious happens to us in a relationship, it's very easy, and this is more common with men, by the way, it's very
Okay.
easy to take the wound into the next relationship and to almost turn up with that wound exposed and say, okay, well, go on then, and dare the person to kind of injure that wound
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
So if, for example, with men, if a man has been cheated on, it doesn't take many times that happening in their life for that man to then assume that all women are cheats. This is always going to happen to me. They will always go for the man with more hair or who's taller
Oh,
or has
right.
more
Yeah.
money, right? And this sort of leads to this, I don't know, this infiltration of toxic thinking and everything else. It's understandable because you are wounded. But if you don't do some work to recover from the injury before you arrive in the next relationship, then you're basically arriving with an open wound. Whereas if you actually take some time, this is why I always encourage people to sit in some discomfort while you're single, sit in the pain while you're single. It's lonely, it's hard, but that's the time that you're really being shaped. That's the time you're really preparing yourself. So as far as that goes, the idea is that if you are injured emotionally in a relationship, it is totally understandable that you will have these very bitter, very angry kind of emotions. That's totally normal. But the person to work through those with is yourself.
Yeah.
It's not the next partner. And unfortunately, the next relationship after the toxic one is always the hardest because you will bring some of that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you can't expect to heal it all, but you can do an awful lot of work to recognize the fact that, it wasn't you. If somebody cheats on you, it's never you. Whatever the situation, if you have not been physical with that person for 2 years in a 10-year marriage, it's still not you. It's totally a decision that that person makes and various decision points along the way that the person has to overcome, right? So do the work in the isolation. Once you've been injured, picture yourself like the wounded animal, fine, and recover in your pain.
Yeah. I think also on top of that as well, it's not just the shaping of you that's happening there. You're sort of shaking off these attributes that have been given to you by somebody who wasn't right for you. Those things that you have perhaps over time become or believed or whatever. So yeah, absolutely. I want to just touch on something you just said. Now I know that this is obviously a letter from Jonathan, a man, and while he's not, he's obviously in touch with how he's feeling. He's got in touch. He knows he's got stuff to do. But you, as I understand it, have just completed a new pack for men, specifically for men. Tell me about that.
So we put together because of the nature of the channel, there's a huge bias towards a female audience. So there's about 90%, 85% women who follow the channel. Not just because I'm devastatingly good looking, but
Definitely
also
not that.
very rude, but also because this kind of content, it's not actually the work that's in the content that's the problem. It's that when women are emotionally injured, they tend to take practical steps. And this is almost every situation in life. The first steps are more practical, tend to be more practical from female people. Whereas the men tend to wait and stew and suffer. And what I wanted to do was put together an emotional resilience pack that stopped people like me walking into relationships that hurt them and then taking that pain onto the next relationship.
Yeah.
And I think that in kind of combination with building some anti-red pill, anti-toxic men, anti-toxic masculinity content, I thought, well, why don't we put something together for the younger men, so your son age, where we can put together a pack and say, do you know what? If you are slightly swayed by all of this red pill type content, then, or if you're concerned that your kid is, or that your family member is, or maybe your ex is, maybe you want to send it to your ex. But a lot of this is kind of saying this content might feel good while you're angry, while you're isolated, while you're upset, while you feel the injustice of the end of the relationship or whatever it is. But here's the end point, because that's what people don't see who get into this content, right? the end point is always bitterness. It's always, it's fine. If you're angry at women, that's okay. You can be angry at women, but don't expect then to find somebody that you can settle comfortably and happily with. You make your bed in this life and then you have to lie in it. And you have to appreciate that if somebody's selling you something based on anger, then generally that's somebody exploiting you. That's someone looking at an emotion that you're suffering and saying, yeah, they'll buy this. Whereas if somebody's giving you stuff or selling you stuff based on actual recovery and healing and growth, then at least you know that at the end point of that process is a happier version of you. And the goal should always be, like, the reason we use peace isn't some weird sort of serene religious connection. It's just that you need to stop feeling this angry stuff.
Exactly. I was going to say that exploiting anger is it's a useful survival tactic, right? But it's designed to be temporary, isn't it? Like a flash, like a match flare again. So you've got to, these people have got to keep that level of rage going to keep the following going, really, haven't
absolutely.
they? So what we're hoping for, I guess, is you are hoping for a lovely sort of flow through of people who are, you know, using you almost like a first aid centre, and then off they go into their lives and happy, which is great, which is where, you know, we all want to be. So that's great. That is great. But as I said, I feel like Jonathan's obviously already starting to do the work, because he's engaging with you and saying, look, what do you think about this? And one of the other things that we explored in there is the importance of honesty in breakups. Right. So I'm just going to do one more. I'm going to do one more comment here.
Okay.
I feel for Jonathan. This is Joanne from my website. I feel for Jonathan. To be broken up with whilst dealing with a health challenge is an awful situation.
Oh, yeah.
I also have sympathy for his ex-partner. Divorce, she was recently divorced, wasn't she? Divorce has a huge impact. It really does. And it can take time to work through the pain and realise what you want out of life going forward. There is no nice way to break up with someone. While she clearly mishandled it, I don't think she was intentionally cruel, and I agree with that. Again, I hope in time Jonathan will be able to look back fondly on the relationship and move on to something even better.
Yeah, I think that's fair. And there's a real sense that the end of the relationship is where you find the least honesty, and it's built as the part of the relationship where people are the most honest. People say, oh, well, I can be honest with you now because we're ending this, and I'm going to say this, and this is what I've always thought of you, and this is what I was and that's not true at all. That's bullshit.
And that is, I loved you. You said that I think it was in this particular episode, and I've thought about that a lot, actually. That's a really helpful thing to remind people, you know, because that is you've whatever, like in my personal experience, I've come out of things and for a lot of a sort of more than 2 decade long relationship, and it, you know, there was lovely things that came with that. And the last, you know, the death throes of it are not what I will now. I will not judge it from that at all. So that was really helpful. Thank you for that. So,
Emma, you're welcome.
I was about to do a hand gesture. I won't do that. It's funny, actually. I was going to say, I never believe you when you're nice to me. I don't know why. You know why. It's because I'm anxious, isn't it? So we have got, I would like to move on because we're rabbiting on, right? And time is ticking on.
One of us is.
But all right, it's my job. Why you employed me, because I can yap. So employed me. Invited me is the word, isn't it?
Yes.
That was a Freudian slip. So we've got some really brilliant submissions coming in for questions of the week. So the question of the week this week, I loved it. Everybody loved it. You said, what's a piece of advice you would give your best friend, but you just don't follow yourself? Right. And that obviously struck a chord, because we had so many people going, oh, I'm really terrible at this. So shall I read a few of those?
Yes, please do.
So, Joanne again. I'm big on, I don't know if it's the same one, sorry. I'm big on telling people to trust their instincts. Yeah, I'm absolutely the worst for ignoring my gut feelings and making excuses for people's poor behaviour.
Yeah.
So we all do that. I think, or we've done that at least, oh, but it was this, it was that. Yeah. One of the things I'm working on is building self-trust. So often we refuse to see the truth because it's painful, when this is the very thing we need to bring clarity to a situation.
Yeah.
Again, pain, it's a warning. It's there for a reason, isn't it?
It is. It is.
So,
And the stuff that we project, the stuff that we try and help people with, is so often the stuff we need the help with, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I loved this one as well. Kay was has a really good take on it as well. She said, when people are shrinking themselves, avoiding getting out there and doing good things for themselves for fear of judgment, criticism, or ridicule from others, I tell them, if anyone is judgmental towards you, school playground bully style, for doing something positive for yourself, then A, they're not your people and certainly nobody you could call a friend. B, think about it, are they really someone whose opinion you would want to base your decisions on? So, do I follow this myself? Ha 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 ha. No, I loved it. I'm hopeless. A bit less hopeless than I was, to be fair, but still mostly hopeless. I do really believe it, though. It's just hard to live it. See, this is the thing. We love our friends. We want them to be happy. We want them to do everything, but we don't talk to ourselves like that, do we? So I thought that was brilliant.
Not.
Absolutely loved that, Kay. Thank you. There was another really lovely one about. Let me find it, because it was sort of it was about
just while you do, this is one of the reasons that when you go to therapy or to counselling about relationships or breakups or self-esteem stuff particularly, this is why the therapist or counsellor will often say to you, would you say that to your best friend?
Yeah.
Of course you wouldn't.
Of course you wouldn't.
Oh, you're fat, you're ugly, oh, you're not good enough. You wouldn't say that.
Yes, I know, that's a terrible thing. I'm trying really hard to follow that, because it's really useful, actually.
That doesn't mean you should say that to your best friends. You understood that, yeah? You're not going to...
That's why I have a very small circle of friends. So, Rigmore, this was a good one. I love this. I'm just going to give you this one quote out of here, right? Okay. When some people pour their own solutions onto everything without being asked, it's really just criticism poorly disguised.
Beautiful.
That's lovely, isn't it? Very true. So, yeah, love that. Someone else says it's okay to slow down and rest and put yourself first and do whatever you want. I'm shocking at this.
Yeah, I must say, when I've been building the pact and it's been flat out, I've sort of been looking at the things I'm writing, thinking, oh, it says take some time, it says relax. And I'm sort of, oh! And I think, yeah. Everyone does it. Everybody
does it. Melissa, I'm a terrible hypocrite. You're not. You're just a normal, lovely person. I'm a terrible hypocrite who gives all sorts of textbook advice, particularly about what we should tolerate from other people in relationships. Then I allow myself to get walked all over or keep going back over and over. I guess many of us see our friends' value and the type of relationship they deserve more than we see our own. Yep. In a nutshell, absolutely that. It's a really good. I love this question. It's a great one to think on, actually.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, there's loads that you can take from that as well. And if you are somebody, by the way, who finds yourself giving advice to lots of people, it's always worth sitting at home and reading that advice to yourself and thinking, right, which bits am I not doing? There's a lot you can take from that.
Definitely. Talk to yourself like you would talk to your loved best friend.
Too right.
Yeah. So I love that. Thank you, everybody, for that, because we've got loads this week, and keep them coming. They're fantastic.
They are.
I just wanted to also, people are still coming back with responses to earlier ones, which we're really happy with that. Please do this. And I loved this from Kay. She also, do you remember we asked what people's immediate green flags would be on a date?
Yes. Yeah.
And I loved this, so I'm just going to read this one. My immediate green flag would probably be a generally positive disposition. Not everything has to be perfect and happy all day, every day, but just having a positive outlook as a default. I'd add being generally smiley. I 100% agree with this.
I think there's a real the cynical people. You really struggle with people who are sort of misanthropes, where you turn up on a date and they're just
deadpan. Yeah. She says this, and when I think back, and we have to do something on this, but when I think back, the dreaded dating apps, Harry.
Yeah.
When you have to write your bio, and the things I was trying, but that's one of the things I was trying to encapsulate, right?
Yes.
And how do you write that? But it's brilliant. So I love that, Kay.
Just someone who's not holding a fish, right? What is with the fish?
Men, if you're listening to this, don't hold a fish.
They don't like fishes.
And don't say my ideal Sunday would be going for a nice walk and to a pub lunch.
Yeah.
Because if you write something different, you're going to attract all sorts of attention.
But every time I hear that, I really want a roast and a pub lunch.
So do I. I mean, I'd love it. To be fair, I'd love it. But anyway,
everyone says it.
Everyone says it. So those were our question of the week.
Yes, fabulous.
We then went on to homework. My homework, didn't we?
I love your homework. And your homework. You know what? I love it so much that I'm going to keep giving you double portions so that it's like lines for you. The more pain it causes you, the more discomfort, the happier I am. This is therapy for me.
I feel like you need to examine some of your behaviour.
No. Definitely not.
You might have.
You might have a point. Yeah.
So, but to be fair to you, this week was absolutely blummin' lovely, wasn't it? Yes.
Yeah.
So, you remind me what you are? Can you remember what you asked me to do?
No.
The memory. Remember?
I know.
You do know. Go on, you explain.
What a lovely photo of Torty. That's what I'm calling him. I don't know what his real name.
Toby.
Toby.
So you, the photograph, if you look at it on the website, is me when I was, I don't know, 8, 9, 10, and my lovely dog who I talk about, and my dog Charlie, and my tortoise Toby. Right. So my homework.
I love that your son is named after that dog. Okay.
He's happy with it.
Anyway, yes.
So anyway, shall we roll VR? VT, whatever.
Every time. Roll VR. Roll VT.
VT. Hello, it's Emma here. Very gloomy, 4:30 in the afternoon. So I'm very lazy, so I'm just using the light from my laptop to illuminate my face and give you an update on my homework for this week. And I've loved it. It's been amazing. I'm a really anxious person. You'll know this. And Harry has said a good way to reconnect with your core as an anxious person is to go back to a memory that was full of unbridled joy. And a memory as far back as you can, certainly before the age of 15, and to just sit with that memory. And I have been sitting with it for ages, and I've actually picked up some crochet just so I can carry on thinking about it in this moment. And I'm going to tell you what it is, and it's brilliant. It works wonderfully well because I just feel, you can see, I just feel so lifted, and it was wonderful. So my memory is, I think I was about 8 years old, and it was a sunny day, and my dad came home from work. And he went into the kitchen and he said, "Oh, Emma, I've forgotten." I can't remember what he said he'd forgotten, but he'd left something in his car, which was parked on our driveway at the top of the garden. Could I go and get it? And I said, of course, yeah. And off I went up to the car at the top of the garden. Now, when I got to the car, in the car was the most beautiful dog. A glossy black and white pointer Springer Spaniel, and of course I went racing back down the garden to my dad and my mum and said, Dad, there's a dog in the car. Whose is the dog? And he replied, "She's yours." And it's going to make me cry, but with happy tears, because what had actually happened, here goes the light again. Obviously, it was all pre-planned. My mum and dad had gone through the process of adopting a rescue dog from the RSPCA, so it had all the checks and everything. It had all been cleared, and he'd been to collect her that day, and she was called Charlie. And from that moment forward, she was one of the gang, and the loads of moments of unbridled joy followed on from that, because she was a best friend for years and years, and she hung out with me and my very good friends, and in my head it was all summers. It wasn't, obviously, but it was all summers. And I really have absolutely loved putting myself back there and remembering that time, and it's so vivid. It's such a vivid, wonderful, happy memory for all sorts of reasons. So do it. Indulge yourself. Go and sit and think far back, and it's a wonderful thing. So Harry, I've loved this week. Thank you so much for reminding me to go back and remember these beautiful things, because I loved that dog. I loved her so much, I named my son after her. So do it. It's brilliant. Thank you.
Oh, Emma, that's
I
so
know.
sweet. It's so sweet. What
I
a lovely
cannot tell
thing.
you how much time I've spent thinking about that since. And more importantly, I've given that task to everybody that I
Oh,
love.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, and I'm going to, if you don't mind, give you a little story about Sunday night. We were driving back, myself, lovely Steve, and Charlie, my son. And
lovely.
we've been to this podcast event in London. And I asked them that question. I asked
Oh,
them to think
brilliant.
about it.
Yeah,
And which is great because you obviously get a real different perspective from a 15-year-old boy to an
yeah,
adult because it's a much
yeah,
more recent. He said, and it's so lovely. I'm going to have to tell because it's just so precious. He said, "Oh, I remember being because we've lost my dad now, and my
yeah.
mum is in care." And he said, "I remember being at Granny and Granddad's house, and they had a rug on the floor, which I remember really clearly." He said, "And I remember pretending the floor was lava, and I could jump from the rug to the sofa for the first time, and I was so happy." So he was tiny, and he
Yeah,
remembered it so clearly, and he loved it. And he came up with it like that.
that's
So
amazing, isn't it? What a
yeah.
memory.
I know. So brilliant thing to, brilliant icebreaker, brilliant
Yeah,
question to ask anybody, actually.
yeah.
So,
Do you think that's a first date question?
why not? Could be, couldn't
Yeah,
it?
could be. Could be. Yeah,
Because look at what it does to people's faces. Look at what it does
exactly.
to them. You
Exactly.
know, and I feel like the moving yourself out of the present back to better times,
Yeah.
probably.
I think it's important to remind ourselves what unbridled joy is. You know,
Yeah.
it's very easy when you grow up to forget you're allowed to feel joyful. Like you're
Mm.
allowed this oof of joy, you
Yeah, of
know.
pure joy. And it doesn't have to cost anything. My
Yeah.
child jumping, that's what made him
Yeah.
joyful.
Yeah.
And more
Whereas for you,
recent,
it took a tortoise, a
a
dog,
dog,
a
and
garden.
an elaborate ruse.
So
I'm
yeah,
very
you
hard work,
high
Harry.
maintenance. Yeah.
High maintenance. But please, if I can appeal to the listener / viewer, do it. It's a beautiful
Yes.
thing.
Yeah, it's a
It's a
very valuable
beautiful thing.
exercise.
And it has stayed with me. And like I said, I keep thinking about that. So thank you. So I will forgive
Fabulous.
you the journaling. And that's
No,
all I'm going to say on
don't
that
forgive me. That's fine.
because we know what's coming up.
Oh, I don't
Let's just
know.
leave it until Thursday.
Okay.
So that was activity of the week, and then we had healing tool of the week.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be completely honest with you, I can't remember what it was. What was it? Oh, it was timed sadness. It was timed sadness, is
Oh,
what it
oh, yeah.
was.
See, now that I think with a lot of experience of giving this to people and
That's a
measuring
belter.
this,
Yeah.
it is about that. And do you know where I heard about this first? I heard about this in addiction treatment. So people who
Okay.
are addicted to various things like gambling or to porn or whatever it is,
Mm.
that it's too much of a leap to expect that person to just stop. So the
Yeah.
first thing they do is they give you a window and they say, right, knock yourself out, do your thing, but you have to measure how you feel before, then you time however long you're allowed, and it's a very strict time. And then at the end, you must measure how you feel realistically. And you
Mm.
always feel worse afterwards. With
Yeah.
gambling, with anything, you always come out of that experience feeling worse. And so that's where I heard about it. And then the timed sadness thing is really interesting too, because you recognize that you're doing it while you have a
Yes.
timer, right?
Yes, this is the thing. I think that's exactly it. It sort of turns a mirror or a camera on you, and you feel a bit foolish. Actually, you
Yeah.
feel, you like I said, you were aware of that time, and you're like, oh, that feels a bit false. Then, so I can control this. I can switch this off, and you
Yeah.
can. It's
If
a
it's
brilliant. It's a really
insidious,
good one.
yeah, if it's insidious and it just floats through your life, it can take over your whole world, right? Because you can just let it do little bits in the background. But if you have to focus on it and face up to it, it's kind of like, oh, this feels like a waste of my time.
Yeah,
This is
takes the
making my
power
day
out.
worse.
Takes the power out of it, and you're also conscious of that passing of time, aren't you, as
Yeah.
well? So I really love that. Again, if you haven't heard it, go listen to it because it's a
Yeah.
really good one. And what is also lovely is we are getting people are sending in their submissions of the things that they do. We
Yeah.
had and I'll keep it brief because I'm aware of the time. a good couple of guided meditation suggestions, and which is great because that is in the toolkit as well.
Yeah, and we're adding more as well next 2 weeks. So today we're adding a lot more EMDR, but also over the next 2 weeks we're adding so much more meditation as well.
And when you bought the pack, you're going to get all that anyway.
Yeah, you
if
keep
you've
that
already
forever.
got
We
it,
keep updating it.
Keep updating it. So why aren't I getting guided meditation? That's all I'm going to say. Anyway, so lots of people guided meditation, and then I loved this. We talked a little bit about this. Mirage 69 says, I really loved this. She writing down every morning. Write down 3 things you're grateful for. Do you remember? I think I told you. Me and my sister do that. Read the words before bedtime. Beautiful. Also loved this. Every day, write a small note. Excuse me. Of a little thing that makes the day a bit better or lighter. Write it down. Put it in a jar.
Yeah.
Okay? And then on New Year's Eve, you can read the notes from the jar.
Yeah, I think that's really sweet. That's lovely.
Fantastic.
That's measuring positive things, and when you're down, you tend to ignore that and you don't notice them. So noticing the positives is good.
Yeah, absolutely. And we had lots of suggestions about different kind of pastimes. Someone was listening to us and doing diamond painting. I don't know what that is, but that sounds amazing. Sarah, I'd love to see your diamond painting. That sounds fantastic. Again, we talked about all of the traditional crafts, the knitting, the crochet, all the lovely repetitive motion. So it's all coming in and they're fantastic. So if you want to read people's submissions, and they are fabulous, you can find quite a lot of them on the website.
Yeah.
Where you can listen to all of the episodes if you want to and get involved. You can do your feedback yourself and you can submit your stories.
Yeah.
And all sorts of things actually there.
And we've had a lot of stories. Oh, yeah. We've had a lot of stories recently, haven't we? So a lot of stories have been coming in. So do keep submitting those. If your story's read out, you get a T-shirt. And under the merch, we've got the shop live now.
Yeah.
Hoodies, sweatshirts, T-shirts, all that sort of stuff. And we're adding to it all the time.
Yeah.
You'll find the shop on the top of the website, dadhugsbysoul.com.
Yeah.
And the shop is also going to be from this next pack, which is the men's pack, and retrospectively in the existing packs. The shop's going to be available within the packs too, so that while you're going through the pack, you can buy a sweatshirt or something. Yeah,
sure. Oh, that's great. Okay. So I guess also just wanted to say, it's really taking off. We're getting lots more comments, which is wonderful. Please, please do get involved because you are making this Tuesday episode really. And the more that you tell us what you want us to talk about, the more we'll talk about it. So you're getting your free therapy.
And I have a big mission statement about helping you early adopters. So if you're in early, you will be looked after. So stick around, keep going. We really appreciate your input. We really do.
We do. And thanks for the likes and the subscribes and the ratings and all of those things. So
especially the people who say that I'm better than Emma. You're the best.
On that, no one says that. Oh. We have got some people who've said, hello there. This is from Spotify. Being a social worker for many years and also learned a lot from lived life, I recommend this podcast to anyone living a heartbreak. There are great tools to learn and it's honest, authentic and real in an easy language. Great self-help to be found.
Thank you very much.
I've just come across your podcast and I binged. You both made me feel strong. I did all the right things and I did snot everywhere for a while. Well done, you. Until it was boring and I hated swollen eyes. Own the pain and give it up and move away from it. Awful people out there don't deserve good people. Thank you both for making my feelings and how I dealt with the discard no longer my fault, but his inability to be good and decent. Well rid of it. My favourite podcast, I love this next bit. Thanks, Gemma. The duo we all needed.
Oh.
You are the Robin to my Batman.
Oh.
She didn't say that.
Am I not Catwoman? I want to be Catwoman. I want the suit.
I know this. I actually saw that suit in an exhibition last year.
You know that she's my number one, Michelle Pfeiffer, right?
Is she?
Yeah. Michelle.
Look at you.
If you're watching, Michelle.
If you're watching, she's lovely, isn't she? That's how I was looking at Simon Le Bon on Friday. I understand that look. Every episode is so well balanced, human, real, with the tough love delivered in the best way. I've learned so much, so thank you. Keep up the great work. So thank you, everybody.
Yeah,
I think we should shut up now, Harry.
Yes, miss.
All right. Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
So come and join us on Thursday. Oh, Thursdays is great. It's Eliza.
Yeah, it is lovely.
Yeah.
It's one that everyone's going to relate to, like everyone.
Everyone. There's something in there that everyone's going to sit and nod along like, yeah. Please listen, comment. It's brilliant. So that was a brilliant submission. Thank you, Eliza. So that's on Thursday. Have you anything to add, my dear heart?
I feel like I'm just being guided and directed through this. It's beautiful. It's brilliant. But I can only see eyebrows mostly as well, so it's really quite good. Oh yeah, it's marvelous.
This is going to look.
They look splendid. Don't worry, they're lovely eyebrows. Excellent work. No, I have nothing to add other than this is the end, right?
This is the end for now.
So, if you're wondering where your ex is and what they're up to, they're exactly where you left them, and they're doing exactly what they were doing. Big hug.
Big hug.